or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today we need to look at all of them, their future Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen, because Future Flash is coming, that new set over in Japan, focusing on future Pokemon, which does of course form a double set with Ancient Rule that we looked at earlier, looking at the ancient Pokemon, and this looks awesome, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely awesome. I am so excited about this. And yeah, we got a bunch of new cards we need to get to. As a fun little side note, let's start off with Iron Hands EX, because that can take extra prizes, and everybody always gets furious at cards that can take extra prizes. Remember Arceus and Algra and Palkia? Remember how much everybody loved that card? No, they hated it. Well, this is not the same as Arceus and Algra and Palkia, but it does let you take extra prizes, and I'm going to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, it is not the most difficult card we've ever seen to use. So what we've got here is 230 HP on a basic lightning Pokemon, that's very high, and we've got free energy, 160, nobody cares, let's move on, but we've got 4 energy, 120, if your opponent's Pokemon is knocked out by damage from this attack, take 1 more prize card. Now, I did all the translations myself for these. I did check with the lovely Antoine Boulet, but I want it on the record that I did them myself. That's very important. And yeah, this is huge. And this is one of those ones where I translated and I'm like, oh, I'm pretty sure about this one, but I've got to go and check and see what Antoine said. Yeah, Antoine confirmed that that is exactly what it does. And look, it only does 120 damage. I don't care. Because, firstly, there's no caveat here. There's no extra prizes if you knock out a Pokemon EX, or if you knock out an Evolution Pokemon, or any of that. It is literally any Pokemon knocked out by damage from this attack, you take an extra prize. So 120 is more than enough to KO all of those support Pokemon we see. Evolving Basics, Evolving Stage 1s, and then of course all your support Pokemon like Comfey in Lost Zone decks, or Bibarel, or any of those kind of things. They will all go down to this pretty gosh darned easily. So now all of those one prize Pokemon that you're kind of sitting and chilling with, yeah. And you know, I'm not saying this is going to destroy Lost Box or anything like that, but I'm just using this as an example. Lost Box, if they don't play a specific counter, and they're obviously going to have to start doing so, they struggle to hit 230 naturally. There is ways they can, but it's awkward. And to be fair, not every deck can. And a lot of the time it's kind of building up to later in the game where they can actually pull this off. The whole time, you just 2 prizes, 2 prizes, 2 prizes, 2 prizes. And bearing in mind, once they've done it 3 times, they win the game. So sure, Lost Box can absolutely play some stuff to take this down, but they've got to be quick, because if this attacks 3 times, the game is over. And I know it's 4 energy. Yeah, no one cares about this being 4 energy. The fact that this is 4 energy really isn't a problem, because we've got good ways to accelerate energy. I mean, firstly, Electric Generator. Electric Generator is totally a thing here, and I know that it's a little bit luck-based and it doesn't always hit, I understand that, but Electric Generator is, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and attach up to 2 basic lightning to your bench lightning Pokemon in any way you like. Well, this is a 4 energy attack, so yeah, you only need to hit 3 energy off this to get this going in 1 turn. Or 2 energy off this to get it going in 2 turns. And oh yeah, it can use double turbo energy. And yes, I'm fully aware that double turbo energy will drop the damage you're doing by 20. So it turns from 120 into 100. But I'm also fully aware that lots of evolving Pokemon, and basically the vast majority of evolving Pokemon have 100 HP or less. And most of the support Pokemon hover around the 70 HP mark. So actually, dropping from 120 to 100 is not that big a deal. It really is not that big a deal. And then all of a sudden, it's this plus 2 energy hit off an Electric Generator, and then you're rocking. Believe me when I say, people are going to be able to make a speed deck with this, and it is going to go nuts. Obviously, if you want a slightly slower version, Flaffy still exists. Flaffy will work very nicely to get this going consistently. Flaffy is great, and I love the Okacheke artwork. But with both Flaffy and Electric Generator, you shouldn't look at this and go, oh, it's 4 energy, that's a lot. You should look at this and go, oh, for goodness sake, they've done it again. Because for goodness sake, they've done it again. Now, the other day, I showed you the Iron Valiant EX box. Now, I'm not going to show you Iron Valiant EX, really. We've done that already. Although, actually, while I'm here, I probably should mention, remember Iron Valiant EX has got the ability whereby when you jump into the active, you get to, drop damage counters. Yeah. Like dropping damage counters to bring something into range of Iron Hands so that you can then get a KO with an extra prize. Yeah, that's going to work quite nicely. But in the Iron Valiant EX box, I told you that we saw the Future Booster card, but we didn't actually know what it did. We couldn't see the card well enough. Well, now it's gone and been revealed in Japanese, so we can just read it. And what it does is, the future Pokemon this card is attached to has no retreat cost, which incidentally is particularly good, bearing in mind Iron Valiant, and its attacks deal 20 more damage. Oh yeah, no, they'll let you boost Iron Hands. So actually, you can either go up to 140, or you can go double turbo energy and play this, and they just cancel each other out. This tool is phenomenal, because firstly, free retreat to Iron Valiant is ridiculous, and secondly, an extra 20 damage to Iron Hands is ridiculous, and also letting any Pokemon do an extra 20 damage and getting free retreat in the same... I mean, goodness me. Remember Floatstone? Floatstone just gave you free retreat and was a staple in like every deck because it was phenomenal. Yet this is Floatstone plus you do an extra 20 damage to everything. We've got right now in the game the tool Vitality Band. It's a tool that lets you do an extra 10 damage to anything. And you know what? I don't think that's a terribly bad card because there are going to be times that 10 damage is big. This is Floatstone and 2 Vitality Bands all together in one tool, but only for future Pokemon. There is a genuine chance that this card is too good. There's also a genuine chance Iron Hand is too good, honestly. This is kind of a little bit broken. There are some other cards we can look at as well. Professor TURO'S scenario. Put one of your Pokemon into your hand, discard all attached cards. Yeah. It should be noted, it does not say a future Pokemon into your hand. It just says one of your Pokemon into your hand. And it is definitely Pokemon. It literally says your on the field Pokemon. Choose one, return it to your hand. There is no future Pokemon there at all. You know how to say future Pokemon. It's in this little box in the top right of the artwork. And then you can look at the text on the card and see that it's not present there. And this is kind of ridiculous, honestly. Like, we should not be looking at this many good cards in one video. We should be spreading these out. But I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is the news. We need to look at all of these, but I just want it on the record that I am fully aware that we are looking at too many good cards in one go here, and I'm sorry. This is AZ. For what it's worth, it is literally AZ. It is like the exact same text as AZ. Put one of your Pokemon into your hand, discard all cards attached to that Pokemon. It is very literally a reprint of AZ. And you know what? That was a really good card that saw a huge amount of play. Because getting one of your Pokemon back is great. I mean, you can pick up a Pokemon to reuse her coming into playability. You can pick it up so it doesn't get KO'd and give up prizes. Or, you can pick up Iron Valiant so that you can then play it down and reuse its ability, which you blatantly want to do. Yeah. This is, again, absolutely ridiculous. Also, as a side note, people are going to see that this is a future card and they are going to assume it only lets you pick up future Pokemon. Please tell them your old pal Wassy told you. It is definitely 100% any Pokemon. It does not say future Pokemon on the card. Antoine was very clear about that. I am being very clear about that. Could not be more clear. We've got a really good Pokemon tool, Techno Radar. Discard a card from your hand in order to use this. Search your deck for up to 2 future Pokemon. Now, do bear in mind that future Pokemon are only basic anyway. We understand that. But remember how good Quick Ball was? Yeah, that let you discard a card from your hand to go and search for a basic Pokemon. This lets you discard a card from your hand to go and search for 2. And okay, they've got to be future Pokemon, but the majority of your deck is going to be. And sure, there are going to be times where what you really want to go and get is like a Squawkabilly for that turn 1 boost. Fine. But a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of the time, this is just going to be a better Quick Ball. Also, as a side note, yes, this is basically a better Quick Ball. The Professor Turo card is literally just a reprint of AZ. The tool is a better Floatstone. This is ridiculous. Like, genuinely, absolutely ridiculous. I think the future deck might end up being too good. I'm saying it now, like day one, and maybe I'm just excited and exaggerating. It wouldn't be the first time. I'm a very excitable fellow. I like Pokemon cards. But I'm looking at everything here, and like, I showed you the ancient Pokemon earlier, and they were really good. This is I don't know if it's even borderline broken. I genuinely think this suite of cards might be too good. Oh yeah, there's one more Pokemon we need to have a look at as well. It's Iron Juglis, and yes, I have checked the pronunciation on this one because I wasn't 100% sure, but I've checked it and it is like Jug. Iron Juglis. So what have we actually got here? Well, we got ourselves 130 HP basic colorless Pokemon, free energy, and it does 50 damage to 3 of your opponent's Pokemon that already have any damage counters on them. Yeah, this is another card that, even if you take it out of the future deck, could end up being too good. Like, absolutely ridiculous. Because 60 HP basics are a thing, and if you combine this with something like Hawlucha, for instance, then you drop damage counters with Hawlucha, and then you go nuts with this. It's 60 to 2 bench Pokemon, and okay, it's for free energy, which at least is going to make it a little bit more difficult to get to, but it can use any energy acceleration because it's colorless. Yeah. There are some other ridiculous combos here. I actually really like this with Radiant Blastoise, which is not a sentence I say very often at all. There is not a huge amount that I like with Radiant Blastoise. Most cards, I think, are not made better because you're combining them with Radiant Blastoise, the one from Pokemon Go, but this one I actually think could be there. That's the one that lets you discard a water energy to put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. Obviously, this works very, very nicely with your Inteleon VMAX, which can drop 2 damage counters on 2 Pokemon, although you've got to, again, discard an energy from your hand to do so. As a side note, this could be fun to combine with Eternatus, the Radiant Eternatus, to get these out quite nicely, and then have some kind of like silly wrecking the bench kind of deck. I'm not saying that is going to be the case, but I am saying it's worth a bit of a play, and it could be very, very, very fun. Oh, and then the second attack is really good as well, because for 5 energy, 150 damage, but if you've got a Future Boost energy capsule attached, it can be used for free colorless energy instead. Bearing in mind, you'll then also be doing an extra 20 damage, so it's a basic Pokemon that for free energy does 170. That's also very, 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 very good. All of these cards are very, very good. I do honestly believe that Future Boost Energy Capsule might end up being too good. That card is absolutely ridiculous. Professor Turo's Scenario is going to have a whole bunch of decks, but not just future decks. Obviously, Techno Radar, going and grabbing 2 of them for discarding 1 card from your hand is absolutely absurd. And get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because it might be in future decks, or it might just be in, literally, just in Lightning decks. But Iron Hands is ridiculous. People are going to play it, and it is going to be played heavily. I mean, that is a 5 Wassy card. They're basically all 5 Wassy cards. Let's give 5 Wassies across the board. If you want to ding one of them, I suppose you're dinging Iron Juglis. But even that, there is a strong argument here. But Professor Turo's Scenario, easy 5 Wassies. Techno Radar, easy 5 Wassies. Iron Hands, easy 5 Wassies. And Iron Juglis, I don't know, knock it down to 4 if you're not feeling generous. These cards are ridiculous, and I do believe in the near future we could all be sitting around saying how future decks are a problem. Maybe I'm exaggerating, I don't think I am. Tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and card games and Pokemon card games, all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And of course, get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Andy White, who's one of our longest standing supporters and is just a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.